Hi friends, welcome back. So headline, U.S. Transport Safety Board opens investigation into Tesla crash in California. And this is coming on August 22nd, 2024. If you've been following the channel, you'll know the Tesla Semi had a crash in California, blocked traffic for hours, and now it looks like they're going to be investigating that. This is also coming out August 21st, 2024, just same day basically. Tesla recalls 9,100 U.S. Model X SUVs. It's second since 2020 for the same problem. Basically, these things are falling apart. That's what it is. You also have this. This was just yesterday. We talked about this before. Tesla Cybertrucks are being delivered to customers covered in dirt and full of trash. So basically, new Cybertrucks are dirty, got a bunch of crap in it. And these are people who are paying for over $100K for a car. Moreover, August 22nd, also today, about 500,000 trees cut down at site of Tesla Gigafactory near Berlin. So they're cutting down a bunch of trees. If you guys remember, we talked about this a couple months ago. There was a bunch of protesters in Germany. They were concerned about water quality in the area. There was a crazy Tesla fire in Portugal. Anyone in Portugal who knows about this, please, chime in the comments. But I guess there were 200 cars involved. We saw this in our news in Korea. It even made news. I guess the police are opening an investigation or whatever is going on with this thing. It is nuts. And it said 200 cars, millions in euros of damages. And then I guess it might have begun as a Tesla might have started this whole thing. And you got this. Another Tesla veteran resigns, writing it was definitely not for the faint of heart. This was the person here. So she is named Shrili. She's the vice president, or was the vice president of finance and business operations at Tesla. And she says goodbye after 11 years. And we got this, which we just talked about yesterday. Elon Musk Twitter takeover is now the worst buyout for banks since the financial crisis. We're talking about $13 billion. I made a couple of videos on that. It is absolutely insane. And guys, this is the question. Is Elon Musk the biggest fraud in history? And then you got this.
And he's as smart as you get. But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month. A month. Not 45 million. Gives me 45 million a month.
So that's according to Trump, 45 million a month. So, and when you put this stuff all together, like all the crazy lawsuits going against Musk, all this, accidents, fires, all these number of things happening, is he looking to buy a pardon? Is that what's going on here? And so suddenly Trump is actually down in the polls, but Musk, he does his own poll to try to show all his followers and try to help, Trump win here. According to Musk and his buddies, 73% are for Trump, I guess, and 27% for Kalama. This was actually just a few hours ago that he was doing this. He says, since a lot of people have asked, here goes a super unscientific poll. And again, it has Trump 73. Kamala is 27. Donald Trump retweets on his platform. Again, it's 73 to 27 in Trump's favor. And then even, to really enforce this, Elon Musk tweets it out again just 3 hours ago. Overwhelming support for Trump. And guys, I'm showing you all these things together because, you're like, why would someone with he's the CEO of an electric car company, why would he support a presidential candidate that's going to cut the EV credits? I mean, are we looking for pardons here? Are we maybe thinking about working in government? Are we maybe thinking about ditching, Tesla and just going into AI and doing something else? I want to show you guys that just more in depth of like how crazy this Musk Tesla pumper world is. This is Musk 17 hours ago. He's tweeting out, basically it says here that, the coverage in the mainstream media is, the Musk, they use legacy media in this, saying, see, it's like 84% positive for Kamala Harris, but when they talk about Trump, it's like 89% negative. Oh, the bias in the media. Oh, I hate that media, right? That's essentially what they do all day. And I want to dig into this one because this is a funny one. That the study that Musk is retweeting I'm just showing you guys right there, is from MRC. So it's like a media research center is what they call themselves. If you dig into it, the founder of the company, again, this is what Musk is tweeting out, was named Brent Bosle. And now the funniest crap, back in 2016, Mr. Bosle wrote in an article, Conservatives Against Trump. Again, this is back in 2016. There's Bosle's name there. You can actually read the article. And he was writing about Trump being a charlatan. So this is, I want you to understand like how crazy this world is, right? So Trump is giving a bunch of money to this dude. He's tweeting out this stuff. And this media company that, is like supporting Trump now, the founder was actually against Trump back in 2016. It says here, enter Donald Trump, right? The GOP base is clearly discussing looking for a new leadership. Enter Donald Trump, not just with policy prescriptions that challenge the cynical GOP leadership, but with an attitude of disdain for that leadership, precisely in line with the sentiments of the base. Many conservatives are relishing, but the rub. Trump might be the greatest charlatan of them all. This is coming from a conservative person that, again, back in 2016 was not supportive of Trump. And he says, real conservatives like a Ronald Reagan, like a Barry Goldwater. And then it's talking about how Reagan and Goldwater were, doing conservative stuff. And again, this is more that person's opinion on Trump. And again, this is Bosle who does the media report to support Trump now, but back in 2016, he wasn't supportive of Trump. It says here, until he decided, talking about Trump here, until he decided to run for GOP nomination a few months ago, Trump had done none of these things, meaning that he wasn't really conservative at all, perhaps because he was too distracted publicly raising money for liberals such as the Clintons, championing Planned Parenthood, tax increases, and single-payer healthcare coverage, and demonstrating his allegiance to the Democratic Party. We conservatives should support the one candidate who walks with us, and that was Brent Bosle back in 2016. He was actually supporting Ted Cruz. And it's really interesting. Again, I just want to connect the dots of like, okay, so where are you getting this research? Who are these people? And these kind of people, they know Trump's an idiot. And the sad thing about it is that like those people that actually honestly believe Trump the same way those kind of people honestly believe Elon. So guys, look this up for yourself. I put it all here. I show you because someone say, oh, what do you citations? It's like all right here. If you want to look, it's right here. So it's called Conservatives Against Trump. But I understand, guys. There's a large group out there that say, oh, if it's something I don't believe in, I'd just be against it because I don't believe in it. But this is an article was interesting, sort of like how this attack against the quote mainstream media started. You could go further back than Trump, but it's interesting how these are connected. And why does this stuff matter? How does it connect to Elon? Why are we talking about Elon, who's still a publicly traded company? Well, these are part of Elon's endgame plans because I don't think the priority really is on Tesla. I think the priority is on Elon. Elon is for Elon the same way Trump is for Trump. 4 hours ago, guys. So Elon's tweeting this out there. Wow. And what it is, it's about a possible proposal from Biden and Kamala Harris regarding an unrealized tax gains, taxing that. And this would be for high net worth individuals, so people over 100 million. So not that many people, right, would be qualified for this stuff. And what's crazy about it, though, is that all of and I'm going to go into some details about this stuff because you got to get the details of this stuff. All the Tesla, fanboys and fangirls and the stock promoters are talking about how awesome Tesla is. This person, Peggy, he's claiming, and who knows if it's true, I have no idea, but he's claiming all his portfolio is 100% Tesla. Farzad's having a freak out about the unrealized tax gain thing. This is Farzad, one of the Tesla stock promoters. He says the worst thing about Kamala's unrealized gains tax is that 50% of the U.S. population doesn't know what unrealized gains are and how incredibly crucial they are to incentivizing investments and wealth creation in the USA. Absolutely bananas policy. And then Farzad also says, I was skeptical that Kamala Harris was a legit communist, but after today's unrealized tax gain policy, I'm not so sure. Someone please tell me where I'm wrong. Here's another one. Whole Mars tax. Again, these are all in support of Elon. Paying a 25% tax on unrealized gains won't fix the economy. And I have to remind you guys, this is for people over 100 million. It will break it, right? It's scary how many Americans are economically illiterate. It's kind of interesting how they write kind of similar stuff about how Americans don't understand economy, etc. And what does this have to do with Elon? Okay, so first, the way Elon operates is he gets stock options, okay? He does not take a salary, so therefore he's not going to pay tax. And then what he does is he pledges his stock options, right? His Tesla stock holdings or options, or you want to call it, and he uses that to get loans to fund his life. Okay, so this is the example here of he used his stock and collateral for getting the $13 billion in money. And also he had to get another 30 billion also too. I don't know how he got that one, but we'll talk about the 13 billion here. So because the Twitter deal was like 44 billion total, but it was like 13 billion from various banks. I think it was 7 total. And then they're short, and they're actually kind of nervous that Elon can't pay them back. This is all, and remember, Elon is under pressure too to get his pay package. Remember this. And you have to understand that like these kind of people like avoid taxes. This came out a couple years ago. I'll show you the dates. This is June 10th, 2021, why Elon Musk has a lower tax rate than you. And so I'm addressing this stuff because when the pumpers always say, oh, it's unfair, it's un-American, I just pose this question to you guys. Is it fair that the ultra rich can hire really good lawyers, really good accountants to not pay taxes, essentially? It's not just Musk, and this is actually done by ProPublica. They did this study a couple years ago. I'm just showing you guys the numbers. You can see it for yourself. They're talking about Buffett, Bezos, Bloomberg, Musk. They talk about other people as well, like our Icon was in the article as well. But, essentially, Musk pays an effective tax rate of like 3%, which is nothing. And essentially, this describes the whole thing. And I just told it to you before, but I'll read through it in detail because I want you to understand like how this game is played, right? Last year, Tesla, and this is from, I guess they got the tax returns of the IRS data or something. But it says last year, Tesla reported that Musk had pledged some 92 million shares, which were worth about 57 billion as of May 29, 2021, as collateral for personal loans, with the exception of 1 year when he exercised more than $1 billion in stock options. Musk's tax bills in no way reflect the fortune he had at his disposal. In 2015, he paid $68,000 in federal income tax. In 2017, it was $65,000, and in 2018, he paid no federal income tax. Between 2014 and 2018, he had a true tax rate of about 3.27%. So you have to understand when we're talking about, when this wealth tax for people over 100 million, we have to come up with some sort of way to tax people who are basically avoiding taxes, because again, they can structure their deals so they take no salary, get a bunch of stock options, and then they're living off loans off of their stock options, right? And I understand there's gonna be people who say, oh, Chris, you're so dumb. We should reward people who make over 100 million to be able to do this kind of stuff. But hey, you guys do you. There's another article. It's called "The Billionaire's Guide to Doing Taxes." It's basically the gist of it is if you have a bunch of money, you got good lawyers, accountants to hide your money and avoid taxes. So one thing that the ultra wealthy do, and this is actually something they would do in China as well, because I used to live in China and I know about this stuff, is you buy a lot of art. Art's a good way to do that kind of thing as well. And then you find any number of ways and to essentially hide your assets. And one way, I'm just, for example, let's say you don't believe in this kind of thing, but another way you could do it, just for example, is maybe you could come up with a sort of tax system on when billionaires, right, take out those personal loans using the stock option collateral, like you would do tax on, say, the loan, something of that nature, because they are, essentially getting money, but they're just doing it in a way that's not accessible to the average American. So, and this is all about fairness, guys. And you have to understand too, like these kind of people like Mr. Musk, he'll rail against, illegal immigrants, etc. But listen to what his brother has to say about this kind of stuff.
You see these numbers every day, but for us to hear, we'll give you $3 million.
Yeah, it sounded extremely, we thought they were crazy. Why would they do that?
It was literally like, these people are insane.
They obviously do not realize we're sleeping in the office.
In fact, when they did fund us, they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
yes, we were.
I'd say it was a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants. We were sleeping in the office. We didn't have a car. We had one car, but the wheel kept falling off.
But, well, actually, yeah, the wheel.
So the point of this stuff, guys, is that people like a Mr. Musk know how to game the system. That's what this is. And, this is the article here. It's called The Secret IRS Files, Trove or Never Before Seen Records, right? Take a look at this stuff. I just point this stuff out because, some people, I understand, guys. I understand. Like you love Musk, you love free speech, all that stuff, but you're being played. I'll just be perfectly frank with you. Moreover, not everyone necessarily is being played by Mr. Musk. This was interesting because I knew that Musk's sort of polling and popularity, or essentially likability, however you want to call it, had been going down in USA. But this actually just came out 12 hours ago. It's actually going down in Australia as well. We have viewers in Australia who watch the channel, and I'd be curious if you guys have heard this kind of stuff. I just wasn't aware that it would affect, Australians, and I'd be curious what people. Actually, I do know. I've heard people in the UK don't like Mr. Musk also, and it's funny because when you add up all this crazy stuff that's been going on lately with him. Is the music finally ending, right? Is this sort of this last ditch thing to get out of it, to like, hey, I'm going to be giving money to Trump to get me out of my problems? This is just 6 hours ago what Mr. Musk is writing. Update from the second Neuralink, that's the brain chip thing. Neuralink device in a human. If all goes well, there'll be hundreds of people with Neuralinks within a few years, maybe tens of thousands within 5 years, millions within 10 years. And I promise you, the Tesla stock promoters will be retweeting this stuff and then having videos about, oh my God, millions of chips in 10 years in all our brains. And all the people who were against, taking the vaccine will suddenly all want chips in their brain from Mr. Musk. Like the hypocrisy. This is so ludicrous. And this is the kind of stuff that you have to understand and put it in historical context, right? Back in 2022, Musk was telling us we're going to put humans on Mars by 2029. Back in 2016, Musk was telling us we're going to put humans on Mars within 9 years. So if I do my calculations correct, 16 plus 9 equals 2025. So next year, I guess, if Musk can keep his promise, we're going to put people on Mars. And Musk is also telling you next year he's going to start selling robots. So guys, is there ways that we can sort of like put a leash on this guy? And I do mean that in sincerity, because you have to understand that he has a lot of power, right? Mr. Musk does. You can see this. And he just basically just spouts out nonsense day after day after day after day, but it seems to be getting worse. And moreover, you're costing people's lives, property, etc. I mean, that 200-car fire in Portugal is nothing to sneeze at. And I saw this. This came out just today also. A lot of stuff came out today. Telecom will pay $1 million over deepfake Joe Biden robocall. So the basic gist of it, and it's really interesting, and if you guys understand this, like these days you can copy someone's voice, right? It's the AI software to do that. You can copy someone's image, and you can essentially, use someone's image, likeness, voice to endorse things that they don't necessarily, agree with. The same way like recently Trump was tweeting out that Taylor Swift was endorsing him, kind of thing. This was a robocall that was using Biden's voice in New Hampshire that was telling people not to vote. It was ridiculous. So they got fined. This company got fined $1 million. And then like the company's like founder thing, he may or may not get fined $6 million. I've seen the numbers at $4 million also. And I guess this kind of like deepfake robocall thing is a real problem. The FCC, they did a report on this thing I was reading about, and it's like, I guess there's insurance scams out there, mortgage scams, car scams, all sort of things where people will call and like it'll sound like a voice that you know. Why am I bringing this stuff up? Because Musk is involved with this kind of crap too. It's like all over the map with this guy. If you remember, he tweeted out that fake video of Kamala Harris, right? And like, if you want to enforce this kind of stuff, you just say, basically the FCC can take away your licenses, this kind of thing, right? So theoretically, Musk's Twitter/X could get shut down in Europe or various countries if you host a platform that does all kinds of stuff like this, or you just may get sued by various entities, be it Taylor Swift, be it Disney, McDonald's, whoever. Because if you're associating brands or actual people with violent images or whatever, I'm sure you guys can understand it's a real problem. Guys, like when I show you this kind of stuff, I don't take an image of Musk and just like just make up stuff that he says like that. It's just crazy. But what's even more crazy, Musk wants this platform of quote free speech to tweet out misinformation, disinformation, and his followers are going along with it. This is the Farzad dude, the stock promoter, and his other friend dude, Hans, is also a stock promoter for Tesla. And they tweet out this 3 hours ago. Hans is like, your right to post misinformation and disinformation is critical. And he's just going on about some sort of conspiracy, the CIA, NSA, this kind of stuff. But this is really what the guy's writing. Your right to post misinformation, disinformation is critical. And then he writes, unless regular everyday citizens have the absolute right to engage in misinformation or even outright disinformation, then we live in a world that is dominated by supervillains. What? and yes, it's funny, but it's also dangerous and sad. And I just point this stuff out, and this guy says, feel free to share if you're not a communist or a Nazi. So I don't think I'm a communist or a Nazi, so I'm sharing. But I make jokes about stuff, but honestly, guys, it is dangerous. And I think the major problem here, you can talk about business, you can talk about the stock market, etc., is I think Mr. Musk is trying to set us up for, if Trump loses the election, basically you have this platform to pump out a bunch of misinformation, disinformation about that. And it can be a real problem. If you saw what happened in UK, where people can, turn violent on this stuff, and we've seen it before on January 6th, I think it's a real problem. And moreover, it's fueled by these people here, like say a Brent Bosle, who knows that Trump's an idiot. He was against Trump in 2016, and then after Trump got a nomination, he had to quickly change his tune. And for people like Mr. Musk, this is all about money. And if you think he doesn't care about money, I mean, come on, let's be real. The dude's a billionaire. If he didn't care about money, you would just give it all away. But this is what he does. He plays the game. He gets loans on his options, and is it now the music is up and it's going to get a call from Mr. Margin? We'll see. Love to hear your thoughts on this thing, and I'll catch you on the next video.